Now, I know y'all have heard about the PS5. Heck, it's been sweeping the nation since COVID-19 struck this country in 2020. However, there is a new system out there on the market with the S5 suffix that I think will be sweeping the nation just as fast, if not faster, than the PS5 did. And yes, I am talking about... That's right, the GS5. So it's a known fact that I do love me a good old bootleg console here on the channel. I've gotten a bootleg Game Boy. I got one of those game sticks that you put in the back of your TV, but I've never gotten anything quite like the GS5. So the real question is, am I gonna have to pass on this guy, or am I gonna tell you all that it's worth a play? Well, good thing you're in the right place, because this is pass or play. So it's common knowledge at this point that I am a marketing teacher. And actually, fun fact, one of my students told me about this guy. I'm very surprised that it exists. I mean, it makes logical sense. PS5, GS5, you know, it all makes sense. And I love the packaging on this is like a mixture of the PS5 and the PS1. It is pretty cool. But needless to say, we're going to dive into it and see if this is worth the $11 that I paid for it on AliExpress. So I'm sure you guys noticed that yes, this box did come to me dented. I don't know if this is the United States Postal Service's fault, if this is AliExpress's fault, or if this is, Game Station. I don't even know what company to even blame for this. I guess it would just be Game Station, the company. So I don't know who to blame for it. I'm not going to take that into the consideration for the review part. However, upon opening, let's see what we got in here. We do have, a beautiful little mini PS5. GS5. It's got the shell. It's like somebody 3D printed the shell. So on the back here, we have our AV out. This is going to take AV, so that'll be interesting. We also have a micro SD card slot, but it looks like it's been sealed, because I have no idea how we're supposed. Same thing with the HDMI out. That's also been, like, somebody was supposed to cut a hole for this, and they never did. So that should be interesting. We also have DC power in through, I believe, it does not look like USB-C. This is actually, yeah, kind of like an old micro USB that we're going to use for the power on this guy. So again, we'll show you on the front. It's got a power button on the bottom. It's got a reset. Ooh, this is a fun button. It's like the GameCube button. And then you got two USB joysticks. It does come with AV cords as well as this USB power cord. So we'll see here. And it also arrives with two controllers, two white controllers. Both are USB. Okay, I'm just going to use one hand. No thumbsticks here. It's just going to be all D-pad. There's not even labels on the buttons, so that should kind of give you a sign. There's also no left and right triggers or bumpers up here. Only 4 buttons should be a clear tell sign as to what type of games we're going to be getting. So upon unboxing, this is everything that we have gotten for the GS5. Let's see what happens when we plug it in. So I just went to plug it in and I found the first big problem here. Yeah, so this is actually not a DC adapter. This is actually a European AC plug, which means can't even plug it in right now. That's never a good sign. So we'll see if I have some converters lying around that we may be able to use.
3 days later.
Alright, it's been 3 days and we finally got the correct adapter in the mail. So we are now going to try again to get this thing to work. Let's take a look what we got. 201. So we have paid for 200 games here on the GS5. Honestly, I think there are a lot of positives to this system. For starters, every single game on this console works as advertised. And as someone who has to go through and test numerous games to see what fails, it's nice to actually be able to play through a good amount of these games. I'd say that I personally tested 30% of the games on this console and everything worked as intended. There are also a lot of classic platformers from the NES era included on this console, as well as a few very funny homebrew versions of Angry Birds and Plants vs. Zombies that, as some of my personal favorite games, were pretty funny to see. The console was also small and easy to fit anywhere, and it was comedically perfect right next to my actual PS5. Not to mention, the controller was incredibly light. as in it actually scared me how light the controller was. I thought something was broken, but the buttons are responsive, and I never felt like input lag was the issue for me dying. It was just mostly a skill issue. Alright, so every time you're done with the game, you are going to have to go up and hit the reset button on the actual console. Cords are only about 3 feet long, so it's not like it's like a huge deal to get up off your seat. But it is definitely more annoying. We're going to try Bomberman next. Oh my, I hit the wrong button. You've got to be kidding me. Now for some of the negatives of this system, and they're pretty obvious, I would say. There's only 200 titles on this console, and most of them are just some variation of platformers. There's some classic Nintendo sports titles on here too, but I'd argue that 40-Yard Dash has aged like milk. If you like platformers, you're going to get your money's worth out of this console, 100%. But if you're not a fan of platformers, there's really not much else going on for you on this console. Even though all of the games here are old, I would have appreciated an HDMI output on this console. It just kind of limits how many TVs you can actually use for this. I had to only use one specific TV in my house in order to play the console, and it just makes things a little bit more inconvenient for the average user. The version of the console I also got was European, and although I'm not going to knock the console itself because I can't read, I do just want to make people know that you may be purchasing the European version, so just be extra careful when you are going to check out to make sure that you have the right version. Or, if you have the plugs available at home, it ain't nothing much to worry about. So is this console a pass or play? Honestly, I'd say this console is a play. For the $10 plus the European plug converter that I had to buy off Amazon that I paid for this, I feel like I definitely got my value out of it. This is the perfect little toy to break out when you have some friends over and you want to play some classic games like Mappy or Dig Dug or Super Mario Bros. 3. As long as you're not expecting to be playing GTA 6 on this guy, you are going to have a great time with the GS5. So we will be keeping the GS5 in our collection. I feel like I'm going to get a few more playthroughs out of it. It's not just going to be this one and done thing for the review. But either way, thank you guys for watching another one of these bootleg console reviews. I'm excited to get back to doing a lot more of them. My laptop has been dead for like 3 weeks, but I did lose all of my project files, so I have to rebuild a bunch of stuff, which is why we're getting some weird videos here and there now. But we should be getting back to consistency pretty soon now that the laptop's back up and running. Anyways, thank you guys again for watching. Please give a like if you thought this was fun, subscribe if you want to see more of these, and leave comments down below if you want me to review another bootleg console that you guys already know. I'm trying to get my hands on the Soldier Boy still, but what can you do? Either way, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.